Boom. Hello and welcome right at 9:52 Central Program Time. We are live. I have a ghost next to me that keeps telling me go Cox.
Sorry.
But no camera today for South Carolina. That is okay. We are going to jump straight in since you guys have all been waiting anyway for far too long. But we have C3. It's 3, 2, 1, 5, 4. Is that right?
Yeah, that's what I got. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. The best conference gets to go first. So we will go ahead and get going with C3. We have a few steal attempts today. We have a auto commit in C3. One thing to remind everybody again, and I'm going to put this in the announcements. I believe it's in there, but I'm going to do my best to make sure all of the things are in all of the announcement or in the announcement channel, is that you have to have been in on a graphic for you to be able to try to steal one of the players. So there were a couple of steal attempts that were made on players they were not on the graphics for. So those steals were not posted, and those steals obviously will not roll. I know I brought it up once last week. I'm going to bring it up this time for the final time. Those instances, you'll get refunded half of your hype this time, and I'm going to post it in the announcement channel so no one can say they didn't find it in the announcements. And going forward, you'll just be out to 30 hype. So, I don't think anybody is trying to do it wrong. So I'm trying to be generous, but also if it keeps happening, you'll just start missing out on that hype. But without further ado, let's get to the best conference, Conference 3. Here we go.
All right. Yes, I apologize for the computer. I made the mistake of changing computers and thought it was a good idea. It was not. So I will go back to the previous computer. All right. So we have RJ Mosley up first. Two-way race, North Texas with a pretty big lead, 64% to 36. And here we go. He is going to, congratulations, North Texas. Held on for the win. Jonas Williams. Jonas Williams, you are going to go to North Texas, 2 for 2. Way to go. On to our next. Brock Boyd, three-way race.
Love a good three-way race.
Pretty close for the top two. Texas Tech and Michigan, 39.7, 39.3. Yeah, little. Yeah. And then Vandy coming in at 21%. We're not going to Texas Tech, going to Michigan. Vanderbilt with the upset. Sorry if that glitched. Vanderbilt with the upset for that one. All right. Jordan Clay. Another three-horse race. Wisconsin with a fairly lengthy lead, 44.5%. Then Michigan and LSU pretty close, 28 and 27. All right, Jordan Clay, not going to Michigan, not going to Wisconsin. It's an upset to LSU. LSU with Jordan Clay. Congratulations. Go Tigers. Whoop. There we go. Oh, lost the screen for a sec. There, it's back. All right. Jake Fett, not going to Oregon, not going to LSU. Congratulations, Wisconsin. You held on for the win. Draw here. Michigan at 44, Wisconsin at 36.5, UCF at 18.9. All right. Trent Mosley, not going to UCF, not going to Wisconsin. Michigan as the favorite holds on. We have 4 schools going after Bo Bentley. Texas Tech at 33%, UCF at 31%. Just under 32. SMU at 21, and Virginia Tech sneaking in at 14%, just above the threshold. All right. Bo Bentley, you are not going to UCF, SMU, Virginia, Texas Tech. Bo Bentley going to Texas Tech.
There we go.
In 5 schools, technically 5. Georgia Tech at 21, Oregon at 15, and Vanderbilt at 13. Will we have a favorite win or an upset? All right. Let's see here. You're not going to Vanderbilt. Not going to UCF. Congratulations, Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech with the win. And Chris Henry Jr. This one is a big amount of entries, so we have to go to a 6th entry. All pretty close. Wisconsin at 20% is the most. UCF 17, Georgia Tech 17, Virginia Tech 16, and then SMU and Vandy both at 14.5. And Chris Henry Jr., you are not going to Vandy or Georgia Tech. You're not going to UCF, not going to Virginia Tech. Congratulations, you are going to Wisconsin, who held on as the favorite. And we had one, C3 had one steal attempt, which was for Jared Curtis. It is 3 teams trying to steal off Virginia Tech. So we will see how this goes. Good luck. Here we go. He is not going to Georgia Tech, not going to Virginia Tech, going to the new home of. Congratulations, Texas Tech. You have Jared Curtis. Stolen. C2. And I will share on over to C. Sorry, that was C3, C2 coming up.
As he's getting C2 set up, I do want to point out, as you saw, Chris Henry Jr. had 6 teams. That was because teams 5 and 6 were a tie and both over the threshold. So they both were in on the roll. It's very rare. I think that's the second time it's ever happened that I recall. But it can happen. And so, yeah, if you're tied in and above the threshold, you will be in on the roll as well. But it looks like he's ready for C2.
All right. Rico Blasingame was a solo commit going to Duke. Congratulations, Duke. You've Yep, it's there. You go. Final. He's going to Duke. All right. Trayshawn Brown between Georgia and Duke, 55 to Trayshawn Brown. You are going to Georgia. Congratulations, Georgia. On to the next. Once I get that. Carde Mack between Miami of Ohio, 83%, 83.5 to 16.5. Will Miami of Ohio pull off another upset? They will not. Congratulations, Rice. I think that might be Rice's first. Donovan Murph between Cal. Oh, sorry. 50-50 split between Cal and Duke. And Donovan Murph, you are going to Duke. Had the slight underdog, but pretty much they're the same. Donovan Murph going to Duke. Trent Mosley up for a second time tonight between Florida, Miami, and UNC. Florida with the you are not going to Miami, not going to Florida. We have an upset. UNC 24% underdog. Congratulations, UNC. Jonathan Hatton Jr. Rice with the 45% as the most. Not Rule.
Oh,
4 teams on the Jamal Rule. Georgia at 30%. UNC. Oh yeah, I'm still here.
We got a little lag. I got a robot voice for you there. Can you rerun tell us who won Jonathan Hatton, please?
Which one? The last one?
Yeah, just the last one.
Jonathan Hatton?
Yep, I can see it now.
Jonathan Hatton went to Rice. Yeah, 40. Okay.
We apologize.
Apologies.
Our technical difficulties.
Never should have switched computers.
They still have Earthlink up there in Toronto, I guess. So dial-up internet or whatever is what we'll blame it on.
Yep.
There was a moose knocked over the router.
Yeah. Damn caribou. All right. It's Jamal Rule, Georgia at 30%, UNC 27.5, UCLA 24.5, and Miami of Ohio just under 18. All right. Jamal Rule, you are not going to Miami, not going to Georgia, not going to UCLA. You are going to UNC. Congratulations, UNC. Yeah, if it's a lag, and we're making it through here. It's these pop-ups. All right,
that's why
Fabian Gross between Rice and Tennessee.
So that's for those of you wondering. That's why he's leaving the tabs up so that if we have a lag issue, we can go back and
on your way to Rice. Oh, Rice having a night. There you go. Derek Cooper. Three-way race between Georgia, Duke, and Miami of Ohio. Sorry, what was that?
Go right ahead.
Okay. Apologies. Derek Cooper, not going to Miami, not going to Georgia. Duke with the slight upset with the 39. Dia Bell, 5 teams: Miami, Washington, Florida, Cal, and USC. Miami with the biggest odds at 25.5%. Pretty close for the rest of them, 21s and 16s. Going to Florida, not going to Miami. We have an upset, not going to Cal. Congratulations to Washington. All right, we're getting there. Crowell between UNC, Georgia, Washington, and UCLA, all pretty close, between 27 to 23%. Crowell, not going to UNC, not going to Georgia, not going to UCLA. Congratulations, Washington, picking up the Crowell win. And then we had, for where we had all teams putting in their steal attempt to try and get the auto commit from last week. Exciting. Here we go. Hyder, you are not going to Washington. And sorry, Washington, that auto commit did not work. Congratulations to Duke. You just picked up yourself one Savion Hyder. All right. Yep,
All right.
That's true. Did get a replacement.
Facts only from PJQY7OG, as everybody calls him. Next up, I believe that puts us at Conference 1. And I'm going to do my
C1?
best to make sure I share the right screen with everybody. Nope, that's not the right one. Let's try that again. Uno momento. We'll get there in a second. Anybody have UNC on fire tonight? Best conference was C3. I appreciate the enthusiasm for your conference, but I believe I called dibs on being the best conference a long time ago. All right, let's get this going here. Wonderful. Here we go. Boom. Do you have roaches? Some of you might say you have roaches, depending on who you consider a roach for making a steal attempt. But in any case, here we go, C1. So before I get to Tate Reynolds, we had 3 solo commits. Devin Carter went to Stanford, Jashir Rogers went to Penn State, and Briggs Cherry went to Ohio State, which is one of the top college football names you'll find out there. Next up, though, that brings us to our first roll of the night. Tate Reynolds deciding between Pitt, Texas, and NC State. Pitt with a big old lead. Let's see if he can hold on. He cannot. Texas, congratulations. Tate Reynolds is a Longhorn. Moving right along, we have Trent Mosley once again with a big old lead for Pitt. Penn State, Stanford, Ohio State, and USF looking to be bearers of bad news for the Pitt Panthers. However, this time Trent Mosley decided to stay with the favorite. So congratulations, Austin. You got to commit. Next up, we have Jet Famalia. I believe he's a quarterback going to Alabama, I think, if I remember that right, deciding here between Nebraska and Oklahoma. Nebraska with a big old lead, and Nebraska holds on. That might be Nebraska's first commit also.
I think they have a couple.
Do they? Okay. If anybody wants to go see model homes in Firestone, Colorado, I've got a great ad for you. Moving on. Jermaine Bishop now deciding between Texas, South Carolina, that's you, Stanford, and Texas A&M trying to pull off an upset. Not A&M, not South Carolina, not Stanford. Texas picks up their second commit of the night. Congratulations, Texas. Jamal Rule, I'll go ahead and finish spelling Nebraska there. Deciding between 5 teams, Nebraska and Pitt with a big lead, USF, NC State, and South Carolina, trying to be upsets in the low teens.
Sneaking in.
Not Nebraska.
So close.
City. Pittsburgh. Pulling off the upset. Congratulations, Austin, with a minor upset there on Jamal Rule. Aaron Gregory, this is one of the closest ones we have, but I don't think the closest of the night. We have USF, NC State, and Texas A&M battling it out. How about that? USF, congratulations on your commitment from Aaron Gregory. Next up, we have Brian Bonner. Very important to note multiple ends. But before we do that, congratulations, Will. USF, maybe all you needed was to claim all of Ohio State's wide receiver success for USF, and that's what finally got recruits coming down to South Florida. But congratulations on the recruit, Aaron Gregory. But as I mentioned, Brian Bonner with 2 ends deciding here between Pitt and South Carolina. Hey,
there we go.
Congratulations. I might be the first time you got an upset here. Usually I'm bad luck for you. So congrats on that one.
Hey, all right.
Finally, we have a few more commits here. Caden Prothrow. That's just a great football name. It's not crazy by any means, but it's just a great football name. Deciding between Nebraska and Penn State, each over 30%. Clemson and Oklahoma, each under 20. Not Penn State, not Oklahoma. Ooh, not Clemson. Nebraska, the favorite. After all that drama, the favorite ended up winning. You are correct. You were not above the threshold on Gregory PJ. I'm sorry, PJQY70G. Next up, Ryder Lions. Here deciding between South Carolina, Clemson, both over, well, not quite Clemson over 40%, but both near 40%, and Penn State trying to be an upset merchant. Penn State will not be an upset merchant. Clemson will not be an upset merchant. That means Rider Lions
right.
is going to South Carolina after a 2-year mission? Question mark. I'm not sure if he's actually doing a mission. I feel like I remember that. But in any case, maybe his mission will be to Myrtle Beach. And finally, our last commit in C1, we have Bo Bentley, which again I can't spell right, deciding between Texas A&M University, and Clemson. Not Texas A&M. That means Clemson pulled off the upset. Oh, thank you, Frank. NC State knows what's up. 1 year for Rider Lions, but congratulations, Clemson, on the commitment of Bo Bentley. That brings us to the end, I believe, of C.
Yeah, that's all for C1. Yeah,
C1.
No steal attempts for C1.
I believe we missed one thing in C3. We had a solo or an auto commit. Could you?
Oh yes.
Remind us of that.
We did have an auto commit. We also had a solo commit as well. We had I missed 2. We had a solo commit of Rashawn Jones going to Georgia Tech, and then we also had an auto commit of Landon Duckworth going to North Texas.
Congratulations, North Texas. Best way to get a recruit, at least for 1 week, is to auto commit them. Yeah. All right. That puts us at C5. See if I can do this slightly more efficiently than last time. No promises. There we go. First up, we have. Do you have roaches still? Anybody? Jerquandon Guilford deciding between Alabama, Maryland, and Auburn. Alabama has a big old lead.
I think that's C4.
Oh, that's C4. Well, joke's on you guys. I just wanted you to get excited.
Psych.
That is not for you. I told you I did it right, and then I didn't. All right, here we go. Try number 2. You still have roaches. This time we're starting with Jordan Clay. We have a couple of solo commits as well, which I will get to in just a moment. But first, Jordan Clay deciding between Houston and UCSD, with UCSD pulling a slight upset. Again, I don't understand entirely how all of these people don't realize UCSD doesn't have a football team, but maybe they are going there for school purposes. Then we have 3 solo commits. First up, Dylan Cope committing to Indiana. Next up, we have Brock Harris committing to Wake Forest. And finally, Donovan Murph committing to Cincinnati. So congratulations to those of you in C5 for pulling your solo commits. Now we have Connor Salmon, is how I'm going to say it, because salmon has an L in it that you don't pronounce, and so does this guy's name. He is deciding between Tulane and Houston, with Tulane a big leader, but not a winner. The salmon swim in Tulane, or in Houston, not in Tulane. So congratulations, Houston. I believe that is Houston's first recruit for the new coach. So congratulations. Welcome to the program.
Nice.
Then we have Jonas Williams deciding if he's going to go to UCSD with a big old lead or decide between Indiana and West Virginia. He's not going to go to UCSD. He looked up their football record last year and it said NA, and he changed his mind. He's also not going to go to West Virginia. That means Indiana is going to bring home Jonas Williams, who I believe is going to USC. So maybe it's a Big Ten connection there. Classic Big Ten rivalry, Indiana and USC. Next up, Jamal Rule. Another committing time here. He committed a couple times tonight, I believe. Oh, that's nice. Somebody's painting their toe. Anyway, FAU with a 30% chance almost. Indiana just behind him, and then we have 3 teams searching for a pretty sizable upset. He is not going to UCSD. He's not going to Cincy. He's not going to Indiana, nor Northwestern. That means FAU is bringing home the Jamal Rule. Congratulations. Next up, one of my favorite names in this recruiting cycle, Legend Bay, deciding between West Virginia with nearly a 50% chance, Northwestern, and then Cincy trying to pull a big old upset. Not the favorite, not the major upset, but Northwestern bringing home Legend Bay. Another great name, Samson Gash, deciding here pretty evenly between UCSD and Tulane. And Tulane with the upset. Congratulations, Tulane. Samson Gash, a great football name, is going to make the move down to Louisiana. Then we have Ian Premer, tight end, deciding here very closely between Arkansas, FAU, and ASU. Not ASU, not FAU, Arkansas, bringing home the Premer or the bacon. I don't know about that one. Woo Pig is all I know. Congratulations, Arkansas. I don't want to download a privacy guard. I'm still not going to do it. Next up, oh, here we go. I thought you might be in the chat. Woo Pig, Woo Pig. Congratulations. Travis Burgess is up next. He's got a big old lead to go to Oklahoma State, but can Arkansas pull an upset here or potentially FAU? Not FAU, not Arkansas, Oklahoma State bringing home the Burgess. And then finally, we have Mark Bowman. This is the one I alluded to earlier. ASU, FAU, and West Virginia, 5 weeks in, and look how close that is. That is quite insane. Almost a dead heat between these 3 schools deciding where Mark Bowman will be attending. Not FAU, not WVU, but Fear the Fork, bringing home the Bowman. Here we go. I knew it was there somewhere. Congratulations, Fear the Fork. And in the background, everyone hears sad pig noises. So, all right. That is C5, which means that brings us to our final conference, C4, which, if any of you know my personal rivalry with C4, specifically Baylor in C4, I'd be fine with ending it here, but I think you guys would be mad at me. So we are going to go ahead and do C4 here. Give me one moment. Let me see here. I see your question here. I'm going to answer that in 1 second. That's what I am checking. So my guess, because you ended up about 5% outside of the threshold. My guess is that some of these teams put in visits on Bowman because I would be surprised if they could gain that big of a lead otherwise. So I would think, or maybe you put in less than max points on one of the weeks, but if you, answered your own question, but that's fine. I'm happy to check. All right. C4, I've prolonged your suffering long enough. First up, we have Jerquaden Guilford. I tried to commit him earlier. Alabama with a big old lead. And Alabama with a big old sad. Nor Auburn, which means Maryland bringing home the Guilford. I think that's going to be my new favorite thing to say. I also, before I run Carson Clark here, I also have some helmets that I owe some of you from the Random Hype events, and I have not forgotten. I will get the coloring done. If any of you have a request for an alternate helmet, please let me know. Otherwise, I get to participate in my favorite thing, which is not gluing your toenails like this guy's doing, but coloring helmets. But anyway, Carson Clark, a big old lead for Notre Dame, and Missouri trying to be an upset merchant, but not today. Next up, Hardee Mac. Again, a big old lead, this time for FSU over Notre Dame. And Notre Dame pulls off an upset. How about that? Back-to-back recruits. Then we have, before we do Jonathan Hatton, we actually have, oh, here we go. Yeah, Luck of the Irish. We have a solo commit. Baylor is bringing in Ryan Estrada. I was very upset when I saw that happened because, well, Baylor. But moving right along, Jonathan Hatton deciding here between Auburn, Ole Miss, and Kentucky. Florida State did not get inside the threshold. Not Kentucky, not Ole Miss. Auburn as the favorite brings home Jonathan Hatton. Here we have a 5-team roll. Jermaine Bishop deciding between Wazoo, TCU, Notre Dame, FSU, and Ole Miss. Not Ole Miss, not FSU, not Wazoo, not TCU. Wow. The Irish are feeling lucky. I would put up the Luck of the Irish, but it's still up from the last one. So congratulations, Notre Dame. 3 more rolls here. We have Jamal Rule deciding between or betwixt Notre Dame, a favorite this time, Missouri, Maryland, and TCU. Not TCU, not Maryland, not Missouri. Ooh. Wow, big day for Notre Dame. Gonna fill up their class tonight, maybe. Then we have, speaking of Notre Dame, Ian Premer deciding between Notre Dame, Wazoo, and Baylor. Not Wazoo, not Baylor. Oof. Yeesh. We might have some steal attempts next week with all of these Notre Dame commits. In case anybody didn't know, we still have the Luck of the Irish. All right, last roll, and then we have a steal attempt, I believe. Derek Cooper deciding here between Maryland, Auburn, Alabama, and FSU. Not Auburn, not Bama, not FSU, Maryland. Wow. It's like 4 schools for 9 commits today for C4. All right.
Now we have a steal attempt.
We do have a steal attempt. Let me know when you have that up and ready.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I want to just clarify a couple of things. So the after this week now, your NIL conversion forms will process, and you will regain, or you will gain however much you converted from NIL to Hype. So your balances will be updated to show that. They will be updated that also, like, it'll also include the top 25 and the streaks that you may or may not have had and the Random Hype events. You will also be seeing NIL updates because everybody spent NIL, but most people did, but also because we had the top scoring NFL players from each of those weeks who contributed to your fund. And then I believe it's not for one more week, but we'll have the players of the month also adding to your NIL. So be on the lookout. Your NIL will replenish, relatively quickly, or for some of you quicker than others. But I think we're ready here. So the last roll of the night.
Last one, Jalen Lott was committed to Baylor. Might still be committed to Baylor, but TCU and Kentucky said, wait a sec. They want in on the action. Let's see where Jalen Lott is going to end up. He's not going to TCU. He is going to end up going back to Baylor. He wanted to stay.
How about that?
Jalen
Congratulations.
Lott at Baylor. Congratulations.
Yes. So players of the month include.
There we go.
It's AFC. Oh, let's get us back here. It's AFC, NFC, and rookie of each month. We'll give out NIL for each of the respective teams that they are on. That is a great question. We're also going to try to clean up the Discord a little so that the announcements is a little easier to weed through, and some of the other channels where things get posted. I'm going to try to do my best to make it a little easier for everyone to follow. I understand that there's a lot of parts that have been moving. If you ever aren't sure about something, my best advice would be to ask rather than making an assumption based off of what you think. But with all that said, I think that's pretty much everything that we have for the show. I will be doing posting the random hype events, the other graphics that I mentioned, the updated totals, the updated leaderboards, the updated team rosters, and resetting the hype purchase store, so you can put that new purchases in and put in your recruiting points. I'm going to do my best to have it all by a reasonable hour in the morning, but saying that all out loud made me realize how much I have to do. So without any further ado, thank you all. Go Texas Tech. Pew pew.
Go Cox.
We'll catch you all later.